What would you do if the person you loved the most secretly tested your loyalty, just to see if you were truly worthy of them? One wealthy man thought it would be harmless. He believed he could test his girlfriend's love with a small lie. But what happened next destroyed everything he thought he knew about love, trust, and himself. And by the time he realized the truth, it was already too late. Hello friends, welcome to our story. Before we start, please subscribe, like this video, share it with someone you care about, and comment below where you're watching from. New York, United Kingdom, Canada, Myb, South Africa, or Jamaica. We want to know. Now let's begin the story. In the busy city of Chicago lived a man named Adrian Cole. Adrian was only 34 years old, yet he had already built a business empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Luxury cars, a massive penthouse overlooking the city skyline, private jets. Adrian had everything money could buy. But there was one thing money had never been able to guarantee: true love. You see, Adrian had been betrayed before. Years earlier, he had dated a woman who seemed perfect. But the moment she discovered his wealth, everything changed. Her love became conditional. Her kindness became manipulation. And when Adrian finally ended the relationship, he promised himself something. He would never be fooled again. That promise followed him for years, until one quiet afternoon changed everything. One rainy evening, Adrian stopped at a small cafe near his office. It was nothing like the luxury restaurants he usually visited. The place was simple, warm, and filled with the smell of fresh coffee. That's where he met Lena Parker. Lena worked behind the counter. She was kind, humble, and had a warm smile that made people feel comfortable instantly. Unlike most people Adrian met, she had no idea who he was. To her, he was just another tired customer ordering coffee. And that's exactly why Adrian kept coming back. Every day, for 2 weeks. Eventually they started talking, then laughing, then sharing stories about their lives. And slowly, something beautiful began to grow between them. But Adrian made one important decision. He never told Lena he was rich. Instead, he told her he was just a manager at a small company. Lena didn't question it. She didn't care. To her, Adrian was simply a good man who listened, respected her, and made her laugh. And for the first time in years, Adrian felt something real. Months passed. Adrian and Lena became inseparable. They walked through parks together, watched sunsets by the lake, shared cheap street food and long conversations about life. Lena often spoke about her dreams. She wanted to open a small bakery someday. Nothing fancy, just a warm place where people could gather and feel happy. Adrian admired her simplicity, her kindness, her honesty, but deep inside him, the old fear remained. What if Lena was just like the others? What if she would change once she discovered his wealth? The thought haunted him, night after night, until one day, Adrian made a terrible decision. Adrian had a friend named Marcus, who often gave him questionable advice. When Adrian told Marcus about Lena, Marcus laughed. "Every woman has a price," Marcus said. "If she really loves you, prove it." Adrian frowned. "How?" Marcus smirked. "Test her." Marcus suggested a plan. Adrian would pretend to lose everything. His job, his money, his apartment. If Lena truly loved him, she would stay. If she left, then Adrian would know the truth. At first Adrian hesitated, but the fear inside him was stronger than his trust. And that fear led him to make the worst mistake of his life. One evening Adrian visited Lena at the cafe. But this time something was different. His face looked pale. His voice trembled. "Lena, I need to tell you something." She immediately sensed something was wrong. "What happened?" Adrian sighed heavily. "My company collapsed. I lost my job. I lost everything." Lena stared at him, not with disappointment, not with anger, but with concern. "Are you okay?" Adrian looked down. "I might lose my apartment too." For a moment the room was silent. Then Lena gently placed her hand over his. "You're not alone." Adrian blinked. "What?" "You can stay with me until things get better." Adrian felt a strange emotion rise in his chest. But the test wasn't over yet. Marcus had insisted he push the lie further. So Adrian continued, I don't know how long it will take, maybe months. Lena smiled softly. Then we'll figure it out together. But what happened next shocked everyone. Adrian moved into Lena's small apartment. It was tiny, old furniture, a small kitchen, a worn-out couch. But something about the place felt warm. Lena cooked simple meals. They watched movies on an old television. And for the first time in his life, Adrian experienced a life without luxury. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And Lena never complained. Not once. Instead, she worked extra shifts to support them both. She often came home exhausted. But she always smiled at Adrian. Things will get better, she would say. But one night, something happened that Adrian never expected. Adrian woke up late one morning and noticed Lena was gone. On the table was a small note. I picked up an extra shift today. Be back tonight. Curious, Adrian followed her later that day. What he saw broke his heart. Lena wasn't just working at the cafe anymore. She had taken a second job cleaning offices at night. And she was doing it for him. Adrian stood there silently, watching her scrub floors and carry heavy cleaning supplies. His chest tightened. This wasn't part of the test. This wasn't supposed to happen. And for the first time, Adrian began to regret everything. But the worst moment was still coming. One evening Adrian overheard Lena speaking with her friend on the phone. I had to sell my grandmother's necklace, Lena said quietly. Adrian froze. That necklace was the only family heirloom she had. Why would you do that? Her friend asked. Lena sighed. Adrian needs help right now. Adrian felt a wave of guilt crash over him. He realized something terrifying. Lena wasn't pretending. She truly loved him. And he had been lying to her the entire time. But wait until you hear what happened after that. That night Adrian couldn't sleep. His mind raced with guilt. Finally he made a decision. He would tell Lena the truth. All of it. The next evening he sat across from her at the kitchen table. Lena, there's something I need to tell you. She looked worried. What is it? Adrian took a deep breath. I lied. Lena frowned. What do you mean? Adrian's voice trembled. I never lost my job. I never lost my money. I'm actually a very wealthy. The room went silent. Lena stared at him. Her eyes filled with confusion, then pain. You tested me? Adrian nodded slowly. I was afraid. I needed to know if you loved me for me. Tears filled Lena's eyes. You watched me struggle, work 2 jobs, sell my grandmother's necklace. Her voice cracked. All because you didn't trust me? Adrian tried to speak, but Lena stood up, and what she said next shocked him completely. You didn't test my love, Lena said quietly. You tested my dignity. Adrian felt his heart sink. I thought we were building something real, she continued. But you were playing a game. Adrian stepped forward. Lena, please. But she shook her head. Love without trust isn't love. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You had everything in the world, except faith in the person who cared about you. Adrian felt the weight of his mistake crushing him. Can you forgive me? He whispered. Lena looked at him one last time. I already forgave you. Adrian's heart lifted for a moment. But then she said something he would never forget. But forgiveness doesn't mean I can stay. And with that, she walked out of his life. Weeks passed. Adrian returned to his penthouse, his luxury cars, his wealthy lifestyle. But something felt empty. Every room felt silent. Every success felt meaningless. He had tested the one person who truly loved him. And in doing so, he had lost her forever. No one expected what he did next. Adrian sold one of his luxury cars. Then another. Then he invested the money into opening a small bakery. Not for himself, but for Lena. He named it Lena's Kitchen. He left the ownership papers at her door with a letter. I don't deserve your love, but I wanted to help you achieve your dream. No tests, no lies, just the truth. And then Adrian walked away. Months later, the bakery became one of the most beloved places in the neighborhood. People gathered there every morning. laughing, sharing stories, just like Lena had always dreamed. One afternoon, Adrian quietly walked past the bakery. Through the window, he saw Lena smiling as she served customers. She looked happy, truly happy, and in that moment Adrian understood something profound. Love is not something you test. Love is something you trust. Because the moment you start testing someone's loyalty, you might lose the very thing you were trying to protect. And that is today's story here on Grandpa Next. Sometimes the greatest wealth in life isn't money. It's trust. It's honesty. And it's the courage to believe in someone without fear. If this story touched your heart, remember to subscribe to Grandpa Next, like this video, share it with someone you care about, and comment below where you're watching from. Because every story here carries a lesson, and sometimes that lesson can change the way we see love forever.